Bienvenidos y gracias por su interés en la Red de Cuidado Infantil Familiar de Texas. El siguiente video ha sido creado para ayudar a los proveedores de cuidado infantil familiar participantes a aprender pasos prácticos sobre cómo usar el sistema de administración de cuidado infantil de Brightwheel. Esperamos que este video lo acerque un paso más a dominar el valioso sistema de gestión de cuidado infantil de Brightwheel mientras pone en práctica sus conocimientos recién adquiridos. Todos los servicios a través de la red son gratuitos. Empecemos.
Tracking staff hours, even if you have a non-traditional schedule, is straightforward and easy to do in Brightwheel. First and foremost, you want to make sure that each of your staff members has a profile so that they can check in and check out of your program, just like your students, for time tracking purposes. When a staff member arrives at your program and logs in or checks in, then they can also take breaks or lunches as needed and time out and time in through their Brightwheel account with your Brightwheel kiosk. Any edits that you would need to make to these time cards can easily be done from the staff and payroll section under the time tracking tool. You can see here that Elaine Smith came in at 8 o'clock and then had a timeout here at 12 o'clock before coming back at 12:30 from her lunch break. These breaks will account for any necessary times when staff members are arriving at, taking a break from, or leaving your program. You can also do a time summary for a given period of time to see the total amount of hours worked by a given staff member, meaning that your time tracking and payroll can be done by a month, week, or a custom date range like 2 weeks based on the pay schedule that you've created for staff. In addition, if you're a program that uses any kind of overtime hours, you can easily make updates to that from the settings in your Brightwheel account. I can navigate there from my time tracking and staff section, or under my school, I'll go to settings. And then in my school info, I'm going to scroll to my payroll settings. Here's where I'll set my pay period based on how frequently I plan to pay my staff members. I can auto check out staff at midnight so that their hours do or do not carry over. However, by turning this off, if I'm a 24-hour care provider, then I can make sure that staff checkout does not happen at midnight. And then finally, I can customize my overtime rules. I can customize them based on how many hours a staff member would work in a week before being overtime, or I can customize how many hours in a day a staff member would work. And that's going to make it so that when I reflect on their time tracking or time cards, these are automatically accounted for. You'll note now when I go back to my staff and payroll and time tracking time summary, Elaine Smith's 0.5 overtime hours have automatically been updated. This will allow me to account for any of the time tracking, and I can easily add a time card or I can export a time card if I'm using additional payroll software.
Gracias por tomarse el tiempo de ver este video que destaca cómo navegar por el sistema de gestión de cuidado infantil de Brightwheel. A través de un proceso de solicitud justo y objetivo, la Red de Cuidado Infantil Familiar de Texas está otorgando un número limitado de subvenciones a los proveedores de cuidado infantil familiar de Texas para financiar suscripciones gratuitas a uno de los dos sistemas de administración de cuidado infantil. Para obtener más información sobre la subvención o para solicitarla, visite www.texasfcscn.org.